Hey everyone, Chakras from Lolking here. Welcome to another iteration of Pro Play. Last time we looked at Varus, Talia, and on-hit Kennen, and this week we're taking a look at Katarina in competitive play. So far, and after 4 weeks of competitive play, Katarina has been picked a total of 16 times in the major regions, and her win rate is exactly 50%. Today we're looking at the strengths of the recently reworked Sinister Blade and how to enable her to be even more dangerous. SK Telecom mid laner Faker was the first player to bring her out in a major competition with an impressive display against Jin. Bjergsen, Senkux, and Kuro all followed suit in an attempt to replicate his success, but all came out with losses and rather poor performances. As Faker showed more solid games with the champion a week later, some thought it could just be the case that it was simply a niche pick that only some teams would be able to execute correctly. Katarina is very dependent on being picked after seeing the opposing mid laner, as she can get countered or put into a poor matchup if she's picked blind. In the ULCS, Nuketook blind picked her and immediately ran into a Mordekaiser pick to not allow her to get favorable trades and push her under turret and prevent roams. Being a melee mid laner with poor pushing power and with only one ranged ability translate into some meager stats. She's bottom of the barrel in regards to gold difference at 10 minutes, CS difference at 10 minutes, and CS per minute. Point being, most teams will pick her late into the draft and into more comfortable matchups where she can get through laning and become a threat after level 6. Some of these matchups include mid laners such as Syndra or Orianna. Quirky is also a frequent matchup but not as easy. While Katarina has potential in the early stages, once Quirky purchases Hex Drinker, there is little she can do. Not to mention Quirky traditionally brings Exhaust as his second summoner in the mid lane. Katarina is also deceptively strong from levels 2 to 5. She has a strong power spike at level 3 and can win most trades against other mid laners, so she attracts a lot of attention from the enemy jungler. Ganking for her is generally a good move if the opportunity presents itself, as giving her a lead can allow her to gain priority in the mid lane as she becomes too much of a threat for the enemy mid laner to handle, giving her more room to roam to side lanes. Given that Katarina isn't a strong wave clear champion, come mid-game the solution is to put her in the side lane, where she can get a 1v1 in an extended portion of terrain, farm up, and push her opponent out of lane by dueling him. From there, she can either keep pressuring from the side lane or attempt to flank in the mid lane. Currently, the AD carry meta is very favorable, as the 3 main picks all help enable Katarina by locking down targets so she can go in and finish them off. Jin is a good example. His Deadly Flourish and Curtain Call can help lock down targets and create chaos while Katarina goes in and assassinates them. Shen is a champion that has been paired with Katarina a couple of times and performed well thus far. The reason why the two of them do so well together isn't that complex. Giving that gigantic shield onto Katarina as she shumpos into the middle of the enemy team allows her to survive the incoming initial damage and gives more room for her to play aggressively. Shen is teleported right into melee range of opponents, which makes it easier to land Shadow Dash and cause chaos in a teamfight, a situation in which Katarina thrives. In terms of team composition, Shen also tends to fit in nicely. As I mentioned above, Katarina is usually put in a side lane to play the 1-3-1 game and put pressure on both side lanes simultaneously. Shen pushes relatively well into other tank matchups, especially if he itemizes for a Titanic Hydra. The composition with Shen is also very dynamic, as it becomes very easy to rotate and turn the 1-3-1 into a collapse in the mid lane, using the Shen plus Katarina combo to pin down and kill targets. Another pick that enables Katarina in skirmishes and teamfights is Ivern. Their 2v2 isn't the strongest in early levels given that Ivern has relatively low damage. In teamfights, however, Ivern can lock down targets with Root Collar, but more importantly, he can place Trigger Seed on Katarina, a potent shield with a powerful AoE slow attached, allowing her to easily chase down targets. In the mid-game, and with Ivern capping out on CDR, these skills are available frequently, which in turn can enable Katarina to play aggressively without getting punished. Daisy is always another problem for the enemy team. The presence of an extra target with a large hitbox, alongside her knockups, make up for a lot of clutter and confusion in teamfights for Katarina to make use of. Finally, and while they aren't as frequent, shielding supports can obviously aid Katarina in playing more aggressively. Karma and Lulu are good examples as they have strong shields to help her survive fights. That's going to be all for today. Let me know if you enjoyed this by leaving a like in the video, as it helps us a lot. See you next week.